Facebook, how are you? So yeah, how's it going? Just as you've seen from my post, my HOKA One One BONDI 6 arrived today, which was great news. Bought them on eBay. I'm not going to tell you how much I paid for them because it was just a giveaway. It was great. I really didn't believe they were real. I even contacted Joe Wade, who's a HOKA distributor, and had him look at the listing just to check. Well, basically I got for 50 quid, which is just, well, £52 because I had to wait to the last minute just to bid up. But the crazy thing is, it's not just a case I got them for 52, it's a case that HOKA or HOKA, I haven't decided yet. I think I hear it done both ways. I'm going to call them HOKA. So HOKA, they don't do a 14.5 UK size. It doesn't happen. Biggest you get is 13.5. So I looked into it, and thanks to Joe Wade for looking into that. Thanks for who else was it? Zoe Wilson as well, who's a podiatrist from Worcester, I believe. She also stocks HOKAs, and she looked into it, and it's the same story, no 14.5s. And thanks to a few people from Chris Johnson's Runner's Zone, they got in contact with me saying they could get them in the States and then post them to me. But that was like working out, take these off, that was like working out at I don't know, $135 from Running Warehouse, and then $40 to get it over, and yeah, it's like, that's too much money for me, eh? And also there's the risk of them not fitting, because HOKAs are notorious for being a little bit small, so I really wasn't sure whether the US 15 would actually fit me. So yeah, and then bingo, suddenly, I think it was about 3 weeks ago, they appeared on eBay. And they were originally like put up there for 40 quid, and I checked it out, good rep and everything, and I thought I'd put a bid down. I put 50 quid down, or £49 I put down, just to see what would happen, thinking it would be you've been outbidded. And I was the winner for a while, and then I think the day later suddenly it went to 52, and I thought, this is just a game, isn't it? I hate eBay, I don't like gambling. I used to, that's probably why I don't like it now. So it was basically a couple of weeks of waiting, really wanting to put some money on, because it kept saying, it's like eBay, isn't it? It says you've been outbidded, want to try again, want to try your luck again. Messages and notifications coming through the whole time, and I just had to ignore it, because when I used to play eBay, it's always the same, isn't it? You wait until the last second, you time it, how fast is your internet connection, and then put money on and hope the next person who's also watching it doesn't have time to put theirs on. So that's what I did, and it was on 50. I would have gladly paid. I thought, right, the most I'm going to pay is 80 quid for them. So I put in 80 at the last 5 seconds before the time was out, thinking, what's it going up to? And it went up to £52, and I was just like, oh wow, okay. And yeah, I was very happy about that. I still wasn't very sure, because I thought, this is well dodgy, they're going to disappear, they're going to be listed again. Because I sent a message to the guy, the seller, and I said, oh, I see you got a UK 14.5. Where are you sure they're 14.5s? Because sometimes in Amazon Prime, they put on a 14.5, but it's not a UK, it's a US or something. And a message came back saying, yeah, they are definitely, it's what it says in the label. I'm like, okay then. And I replied saying, just out of interest, where do you get them from? Are they from the States, or what's the deal? And he didn't reply to that, funnily enough. But anyway, cut a long story short, I got my HOKAs, or my HOKAs, and I had a first run today. So why did I want these shoes? Why did I want these shoes? Exactly, Nick Knight, how did they feel? That's the most interesting thing for podiatrists, isn't it? Not interested in how much I paid for it. So yeah, thank you. I was going to say thank you to Nick Knight for the consultation he gave me. One of the recommendations, him together with Simon Spooner as well, who was kind enough to give me some of his time as well. And it's all to do with this heel pain I've been suffering, which, after figuring it out myself and consulting a couple of great podiatrists like Nick and Simon, it was kind of a case of, it probably is looking at the case history and everything, a slight degeneration of the fatty pad. The pain was so precise, and that's where kind of the pad is. So it was probably something to do with that, and also some plantar fascia problems. It was a combination of a couple of things. So out of everything that was recommended to me, one of it was maybe try the HOKAs, because the HOKAs have got this, as you might know or not, they've got this kind of rocking mechanism, as well as being very cushioned. They've got this rocking mechanism inside, which actually helps. What we're looking at is the big toe extension. So when you're landing, one of the really important parts of running is what the big toe does, because it controls the tightness of that arch on the inside to give you a rigid lead, etc., etc. So the idea is, and the reason why a lot of people do find success with the HOKAs is I've changed the HOKA now. Can someone tell me whether HOKA rhymes with poker or with shocker? Is it shocker or poker? Tell me, somebody. But anyway, yeah, so they help with that extension of the big toe, because they rock you forwards a little bit, and that's why I wanted them. And also the cushioning as well is supposed to help veteran runners like myself, who might have naturally, just through age, had a little bit of a thinning of that fatty pad on the heel. So how did they feel? Just had a few people, the dog sit down next to me, that's interesting. Hold on a sec. How did they feel? They felt good, Nick. Well, it's so difficult, isn't it? Because what am I going to do? What are the chances? So yeah, how can you tell on your first run? It's tricky, isn't it? Because you're thinking the whole time. Performance-wise, if I've got to find somewhere else, I've got like a travelling circus of dogs near me. Performance-wise, yeah, fine. It felt to me that I did a tempo run today just for 5k, compared it to my last few tempo runs, and it wasn't that I could pick up the pace anymore. It wasn't necessarily travelling faster, but it did feel that as I was approaching the end, I had more energy left. Now, I don't know whether that was just me imagining it, or inside I had some kind of suspicion that's what was going to happen, but it just felt maybe that my running economy might have been a little bit better, maybe, and that's why I hadn't got stronger. Obviously, no shoe's going to necessarily make you stronger, but part of the reason why certain shoes work is they do improve because of what they've got inside them, your running economy, so how much oxygen you're using to get from A to B. Obviously, if you're having to use less oxygen, then you're going to perform better. So I think I felt a bit of that. I got a great time. It was no faster than I would normally want a 5k tempo, but I did feel like I had more in the tank as I was approaching kind of the last sort of minute or two. So yeah, good, mate. The pudding will be how it feels tonight and tomorrow, whether it's sore, whether I'm limping. That'll be the proof in the pudding to see whether I have actually managed to change the way my foot moved a little, change the forces, what I had to deal with, that sort of stuff. So we'll see. I'll be sure to let you know. Let's just have a load of people in the room. Matt Barsh, hi Matt, how you doing? Hope you're well. Thanks for your posts as always. You are my newspaper, Matt. So thank you for that. Hey Kamal Pelican, how you doing? Hey Mark Rinaldi. Mark, I did enjoy seeing you with a beard and without. What confused me for a sec, Mark, was it was like, how did he manage to have exactly the same look on his face, exactly the same clothes, exactly the same background? I thought it's like a Photoshop. And then I just realised that you just stood in front of the same wall. It was probably done the same 10 minutes, you just shaved it off and stood back there again. But it really was like, spot the difference, which is exactly the same photo but with a beard on one of them and not on the other. But Mark, I mean, as much as I do admire beards, and I thank every day the brianbeardcompany.co.uk. Don't forget to use the code RCL15 if you do buy products for 15% discount. Yeah, Mark, you look very, very handsome, clean shaven. It's just you, isn't it? So there you go. Hi, Henerby Tom Storm, how you doing? One of my favourite shows, Henerby Tom Storm said. What show was I talking about? Oh, damn, I can't remember now. You have to remind me. Manny Martin, how you doing? Bill Taylor. John Hedges, how are you doing? John, what's your thoughts on the HOKAs? And have you had much play around with them? And yeah, be keen to hear your comments as well. You being the guru of all things shoes as well. Be keen to know what you think. Hey Derek, how you doing? Dick? I look at you, Dick. Derek. Dick Griffin. Sounds like a cartoon crime buster. Derek Griffin, how you doing, mate? Thanks for all your posts as well, Derek. You put some fantastic posts. We always have. I do enjoy having you at the top of my Facebook stream every morning to catch up with the stuff you're putting on. Really good, Derek, and I hope you're well, and I'm great to see your training's going well as well. Onglip Quinn, how you doing? Mark says you should always go for a round figure on eBay. For example, 5071, as most people had 50. Yeah, it's true. Old school, Mark? Most of your wardrobe's eBay, isn't it? I mean, your costumes. Hey Lisa, how are you doing? Hope you're well. Mark then tells me about a site. I know that's too many words, Mark. Hey Sam, how are you doing? Samantha Ridley. Hope you're well. You're looking very well. All about the sagittal plane, says Nick Knight. It is indeed. Chris Phillips, how you doing? Ian Griffiths is watching as well, talking of podiatrists. So yeah, Ian, I'm sure a lot of what I've just said about the HOKAs hopefully makes sense to you. I never came to you for help because I just thought Ian's such a busy man. He's got so much going on with the Podchat and your kind of very busy life. So sorry if you felt that I didn't actually ask. Why didn't Matt come to me and ask my advice? But Nick and Spooner did get in there very quickly. But I think both of them said they've been to Ian. So Camille Pelican, how do they feel? They feel good. They feel good. But you can't tell, can you? I'm more interested about how they feel tomorrow and the next day, in my case, Camille, as I'm sure you can imagine. Simon's here. Hey, Simon, if you just called up, thank you very much for your help. Managed to get it for 50 quid, mate. What a bargain. 50 quid. Let's have a little look. Look at them clown feet. Like bloody flippers. One thing I did notice, and it's just me, I think, and this is a good example, this is what I was talking about to the lovely Emma Brockwell yesterday. In case you haven't seen it, Emma was kind enough to invite me onto Instagram Live, Physio Mum UK, to have a chat with her lovely group of people. Oh, I said, like, probably the nicest group I've ever had the pleasure of being on an Instagram. Just about all things running. It was like a Q&A session. And one of the things that came up, I think, was, just talking about lacing. We talked about shoes, obviously, and I just briefly mentioned that you can transform how a pair of shoes feels. We're talking about comfort being the best kind of indicator of whether a shoe suits you or not. But in order to get that comfort, one of the things we can obviously play around with is laces. And these HOKAs this morning was a good example of that, because as I tried them on and did a few little tests just to see, so I was still suspicious that they were dodgy, so I was lining them up and just checking their symmetry and just having a look at all sorts of things, and they seemed very genuine. One of the things I did notice as soon as I started a little walk in it was just a little bit of a heel slip, and one of my feet is actually a little bit bigger than the other one, so I was a bit worried that even a UK 14.5 is a bit small for me. But with the heel slip, obviously your foot slides forwards, so one of the things I did straight away was just what I talked about on Emma Brockwell's feed yesterday, was just doing the heel lock, where you just take, I think I'll do maybe a lace video later on, may as well do one of those, but where you just, I'm sure runners are familiar with it, where you undo the top lace and thread it back on itself so it's on the same side and make a little loop, and then you take it across contralaterally to go through the other loop, so in effect you're kind of pulling tighter across the last two holes to lock your heel in place. And before you lock it, you jam your heel back into the back of the shoe and then you pull it. And that was such a simple way to change what can be a very uncomfortable, too big for you kind of sensation to a nice locked heel. So that's the first thing I did. So my heels seemed a bit skinny for the HOKAs, which I was surprised, but fair enough. So yeah, lacing. I think I will do a video on lacing. You can really play around with it, and also the other thing is, if you've got one foot slightly bigger than the other, you can compensate for that by maybe having lacing done slightly differently on one shoe than the other. If you've got slightly wider foot, or you can play around with it. I'll do a video later on. I think it's useful for people. Anyway, Stu Robson, hello. Jonathan Hedges says hi. Mark says exactly that. Nick Knight got to dash, catch up later. Nick, very busy man. Simon Spoon, it's a still, isn't it, mate? I still can't believe it. I'm still waiting for them just to disappear or just fall apart like a clown car. I'm just waiting for them to kind of just don't know, something's going to happen to him. Yeah, amazing. Alan Strock is watching as well. So there we go. Right, I've got duties at home, and just had 2 ladies on bikes wave at me. It's nice, always makes my day. Must be the hokers. They're thinking, wow, that guy must be well off. He's got 150 quid shoes on. If only they knew. If only they knew. I'm a cheapskate who got them on eBay for 50 quid, love. Sorry. Jonathan Hedges says, I'm not a guru. Oh, but John, you are. Man of experience in so many ways. But he has got size 30.5 feet too. How you feel tomorrow will let you do a lot. Yes, true. Let us know how your whole body feels compared to the run in your normal shoes. Yeah, it's so difficult the first run in shoes, isn't it? Your mind is all over the place. If anything, I didn't actually enjoy in a way the run as much because I was thinking too much. Does that make sense? I was analysing in my brain. I was wondering whether, because a lot of the time when you got something going in the foot, you do obviously feel changes up, especially in the glutes and around the hip. And normally I just forget about that. I don't like to think about my body when I'm running, because then things start throbbing and you just start sensitizing areas. But obviously with a new pair of shoes and you're analysing, so I didn't like the run that much in that way. I had to disconnect a bit, but eventually I did. And the last K of the 5K, where it starts getting a bit tiring, then I didn't feel anything apart from just Guns N' Roses in my ears. But yeah, I will keep you up to date, John. Interesting. I haven't been this excited about testing a shoe for ages, and I think it's because of the fact I know they're expensive and I got them for so cheap. I love that. Everyone loves a deal. Steal. Right, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, one other thing I just want to mention. Monday night at 8 o'clock, I've been invited along to the Lincolnshire running group. There is a post on my Facebook where I'll be doing a Q&A there as well with Anna Mongan and Shane, can't remember his last name, but Shane and Anna. Yeah, they've been gracious enough to invite me along to answer questions in the Lincolnshire running group. If you're interested in attending that, you don't have to be from Lincoln to be in there. You have to apply to be in their group. There might be a couple of questions like why you want to apply or something, but as far as I know a few people have just joined up there to come along for the talk. Why not? More merrier. You may even find you really like the group and move to Lincoln forever. It might be the place for you to live. Who knows? But that's Monday night, and there is I'm doing it with Belive in their Facebook group, so you can get a reminder. You can click it now, and then it will let you know, so you don't miss it. And there's a few other ones. It's all part of my channel, and it's working. It's all me getting away from the echo chamber. And it was lovely with Emma Brockwell on her feed, because I really was talking to people who I haven't talked to before and who weren't on the same page as me. And it was lovely. It was really nice. And I'm sure in Lincolnshire runners it will be very similar. And I hope that I managed to be a conduit of new information without coming across as too sitting on a pedestal or too judgmental. I hope that's one of the things I can do. I like to think I can, and just dispel a few myths, give some suggestions, throw out a few little bits of evidence for and against things, and in doing so, just hopefully just change people's lives. Actually, that's all I want to do. I just want to change people's lives. Nikki Shearman, how are you? Hey, ever see things around the hour that look like you? Ever see things around the hour that look like you? That's a surreal question, Nikki. Have you been drinking again, Nikki? What time is it? 1:35, a little bit early for the sherry. Have I seen things around the hour that look like you? What do you mean around the hour? Yeah, you have to come back with me, Nikki, I don't get that. Around the hour, I'm just thinking of a clock. Ever see things around the house which look like you? That's even weirder, Nikki. Come on now. Get yourself together. I'm not sure what we're talking about. But I'm sure it's me, not you. Anyway, right. So yes, thanks again to Emma Brockwell. The full hour was a long video. I was probably talking for way too long. But I think there's quite a lot of interesting content in there, maybe for runners and therapists. So check that out. It's on Physio Mum UK, aka Emma Brockwell's Instagram, and I think she's uploaded to her Facebook as well. So have a look at that. And also Lincolnshire Runners on Monday night at 8. I've got some other stuff coming up as well. There's Jim Gare as well from Russ there, doing a little chat. And I'm still up for it, for the next few weeks. If there are running clubs out there who would like me to do a Q&A on your Facebook, I've got all the software to do it. I can set it all up. All you got to do, one of you can be the host, and we can let people onto the screen as well, up to kind of 4 people on the screen at the same time, even live TV. And it's lovely. It's a nice way of getting groups chatting, talking, learning, sharing. And so if you're interested, then message me and we can sort that out for free. It's just all about getting information out to new people, which is what I really want to do the next 2 weeks. Anything else I will mention also, because I mentioned Emma a few times, I'm very, very excited to bring Emma Brockwell, Physio Mum UK, and Grainne Donnelly, her fellow women's health physiotherapist, to Runchatlive Podcast on June the 18th, I think. If I've got that wrong, then something should fly up along here in a sec showing the correct date. Yeah, they're going to be guests talking about the fantastic guide they've put together recently in BJSM, published a guide on returning to running post-pregnancy. I don't need to tell you, whether you're a female runner or a therapist, about the importance of being able to give information to female athletes, female runners, regarding running, particularly after pregnancy. Can they, can't they, what could happen, what if? And a lot of it is kind of areas which people don't like talking about. Either runners seeing therapists don't like to bring up, or therapists don't feel confident asking. It's all kind of part of this weird taboo thing. We kind of are quite happy, for example, talking about menstruation and things like that, because we know it's kind of connected to risk of bone stress issues, but we don't really talk about things like continence and stuff like that, do we? It just doesn't really happen much in consultations for a lot of us. And a lot of runners, female runners, don't like bringing it up if they're with a male therapist. But as we will see, as we will be educated by the country's finest, by Emma and Grainne, we do need to talk about it. It's a very, very, very serious subject, and to talk about it we need to be educated. And you can already see, if you head over to Emma and Grainne's various social feeds, and Tom Goom as well, because Tom Goom worked with them on this, and the 3 of them, and they produced a fantastic guide, and it's well worth checking out. But like I say, Grainne and Emma will be on Runchatlive live on 8 o'clock, June the 18th. And yeah, stick that one in your diary straight away, because they're fantastic speakers, lovely people, and it's a really, really, really important topic for both runners and therapists. So there you go. Now let's finish off seeing whether Nikki can explain why she thinks I should look around the house which look like me. Oh, Samantha, what you said. Interesting listening. I'm a big fan of Hokas. Is it Hoka Shoka or Hoka Poka? I don't know. You tell me, Sam. What do you call them? Big fan of Hokas, and I've been thinking to changing to the Bondi, as they're the most cushioned, following a foot problem also. Yeah, I mean, the Bondi is the most cushioned. That's what Spooner recommended me. Because I have got a fatty pad issue, probably, so it made sense. I think the Cliftons come second, thanks to Joe Wade was telling me. He's a UK distributor, and he was telling me. But yeah, the Bondis have got that extra bit of cushioning, clearly. And I'm looking forward to seeing how that looks after my issues. But yeah, just be prepared that they do, for most people, come up a little bit small, that's all. And they're just really expensive, and I don't want to put Hoka out of business, but I think during this time not everyone's got as much disposable money, so yeah, they are expensive, but you get what you pay for, don't you, eh? You get what you pay for. Right, Nikki says she took a photo but didn't realise she couldn't share it. Sorry, Nikki, you're still making no sense. You really need to sit down. Marianne Clark, how are you? Hope you're well. Jim Gare's watching. Hey, Jim Gare, shoes, great topic. Jim Gare, I'm really looking forward for us to chat on your group as well, with your group, Facebook group. Thank you so much for helping me get out the echo chamber. It's working slowly. Right, I need to go home. Thanks, people. Hope you're well. Yeah, hopefully see some of you Monday. Simon Spooner chips in at the end. Did you add a heel lift? Not for running with, but I have got some. I am wearing some inserts from Nick, and he's put a little bit of a heel lift on there as well. He added that on, So I'm walking. I will walk around the Hokas as well for a while just to get benefit from the cushioning, because well, as you know, the walking is the issue, is more than the running really. So yeah, it's built in, mate. It's all built in. They all build them in these days, don't they? It's all part of the orthotic, isn't it? As Ian would call them, an orthotic. Right, I need to go. Bushra, you can't just suddenly appear, Bushra. Winner of Ultra Mirage 2019. Is it 2019? Yeah. And then disappear. Hi Bushra, how are you? Hope you're well. Love following your feed as well. Amazing ultra runner there. Bushra, and I miss riding in horse carriages with you. I hope we manage to do that again one day in Tunisia. But anyway, I've got to go now. Take care, and if you're around Monday night, join me at Lincolnshire Runners. Farewell. We'll finish off with a shot of the Hokas, or Pokers, or